Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to give you a brief overview of our new statistical report package. And as you're probably aware, in April of this year, we launched this new package through a vendor called 10K Research and Marketing. Now, I wanted to tell you about 10K. They are out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. They were originally a part of the Minneapolis multiple listing service, but after creating report tools for their own MLS, the team formed 10K Research and Marketing and began marketing the report products to other MLSs. So they're currently being used by Utah, Columbus, Charleston, and Georgia Association of Realtors. And 10K just recently, the National Association of Realtors has contracted 10K to put together the Market Watch reports that you all are very familiar with, the quarterly Market Watch reports. So you'll see those start to look more like the reports that you're seeing now that were launched in April. Our executive committee saw this presentation in Chicago Convention last year. It was selected to the board, brought you these new statistical tools. You'll need to know that all the data found in the reports is CMLS data provided by feed to 10K. The new reports are posted to Carolina Realtors each month around the 8th, so, and certain data is also released around the 10th of the month to the public and to the media. Previous to the 10K report package, CMLS culled all data for the reports between the 5th of one month and the 6th of the following month. And at the request of members, we are now reporting between the 1st and the end of the month. So if you're trying to compare back a year, you're going to see some discrepancy because of date changes. You're also going to see some discrepancies here just because of the way that 10K does its data scrubbing and to look for correction, to make sure that there are no anomalies or errors in the data. So sometimes you'll see some differences in the data. Go ahead and realize that 10K is still in creation and development mode. Email us if you're finding problems, if you notice things that are odd, and we will definitely talk with 10K. They usually can come back immediately within a 24-hour period, sometimes within an hour, and tell us what the discrepancy is or what we're looking at or what the problem is. So definitely give us feedback as you find issues with SAM or if you see things with reports. For those new to the business, we've included definitions of key statistics because you'll notice that the reports are covering a variety of metrics and displaying that data and trending that data. So definitely look. This is also included, this actual PDF. Just going slow. Basically, it's an FAQ about the reports, just why you're seeing issues that or noticing differences in the data, and also a list of key definitions that are basically will give you some sort of background about that particular metric if you're wondering how or when to use it. Is that a nice when to look at it for the buyer, what the buyer will be looking for, what the seller will be looking for. All of this can be found under Media Center. A lot of times we know we've got a lot of stuff on CarolinaRealtors.com. That is your resource, that is your website. But under Media Center, for your monthly reports, for SAM, you can go in and find everything that you need from the surveys to Market Watch reports, to your monthly reports, to old archived CMLS reports, previous reports. So once you go into Media Center, you'll click on Market Reports and Surveys, Statistical Market Analysis will bring you to SAM, monthly reports on down to quarterly reports, and I think this is where I was trying to go with the FAQ. So anyway, if we'll just jump forward and get back to the presentation. If you all have questions, definitely give the Marketing and Communications Department a call because we manage quite a bit that's found in the Media Center tab. So if you're looking for things, you can't find something, give us a call. We're very responsive. So we'll jump right in, and look at our local market updates. You're very aware of these. It's a 21-page report covering about 21 areas. What you'll need to know here is that if you see an area, if we get multiple requests for an area that we're not seeing here, 10K is willing to add on areas. And I think one of the things, say for instance, if you're like, okay, I'm working in Lancaster, but I don't get a Lancaster report, we'd love to see that trended every month. If we get enough requests, then we can add that report on. So what we basically are giving you is the entire seamless area, which is your entire feed, select counties, Mecklenburg County, and then Mecklenburg sub-areas, the MSA, and then selected lake areas of the uptown area at this point in time. Next slide. And also that local market update is the public-facing report as well. So the public, your consumer, your clients are able to get to that information on Carolina Hub. Your weekly market activity report is a week or snapshot of activity that occurred the previous week. You will need to access that through a link that we may send you on eHeadlines or Association Weekly News, which comes out every Monday. So generally, we will say in eHeadlines, the weekly market activity report is available. Or, again, you'll go to your Media Center tab and go under monthly reports. That weekly market report is kept there also. So we will not archive all those reports, as you know, there'll be a lot of reports. But a lot of the folks who are researching would like to see the trends on a weekly basis. So that's where you'll go just to follow those trends. Okay, your monthly indicators report. This is your main monthly report. This is more in depth and shows your trends over a period of 3 to 4 years. So you're going to look at what's happened that month and then see what has occurred a year ago versus, and then also there's generally a breakout in the pages in this report, I should say, that will show you essentially your trends for 3 to 4 years back. So you're probably already aware of that. What you'll need to remember here is you need to go to the most recent report because 10K is constantly updating the information. They don't freeze the data as we were doing, or the CMLS team was doing a year or so ago, where we just put the monthly report up. So your most recent report may reflect a change that did not appear in the, say for instance, June report. So if there's a closing after the cutoff, or something happened with the pending, but it still would be included in that June month of frame of time, I should say, then you're going to see it reflected and updated, an updated number in the July report. So once the July report comes out, definitely look back at your previous month. If you're keeping this in a spreadsheet like I do, then you'll probably want to adjust those numbers because they may change a little bit. So, and that would be the difference, is the fact that they're not freezing that data. Your lender mediator report is a 5-page monthly report that digs into your traditional and lender mediated listings. And as you know, those are your pre-foreclosure, your lender owned, or your short sale data. Now, something that you may want to, you need to know with this report is that some lender-mediated homes can be listed both as foreclosure and short sale. So there could be sometimes an instance of a double count. But for the most part, we feel like this is a very accurate snapshot of what is happening with distressed sales within the MLS. Debbie's going to talk a little bit more later about special conditions, but what we use is 10K using about 32 search terms to pull these listings that are distressed, and they're also looking at your special conditions field where you've checked off whether it's in foreclosure or short sale or what have you. So that is how this report is pulled together. Again, like I said, there'll be some discrepancies because you don't know when a short sale or when something in pre-foreclosure has gone into foreclosure or short sale, so there could be an instance of a double count. We did notice that we had a member call us was using SAM because the same data that's trended in the reports is also trended in SAM, and they saw a discrepancy that they thought, okay, when we add all these listings, these closed listings together, they should reflect that total inventory. But we noticed at that point that, you know, there were some double counts there, some that fell either in the foreclosure or short sale that were counted twice. So there are some small tweaks and issues, but for the most part, we feel like this is a pretty accurate reflection of what's happening with distress sales. And then your housing supply overview is another monthly report that gives you a breakdown of trends by prices, home types, and construction. This is just another member benefit review. So, the tool that you're all here to talk about today is SAM. And as Lori alluded, SAM is an interactive market analytics tool, a web page that brings our data to life. I was asked recently, what's the purpose of SAM? Why do we need this? And for me, I look at it as a way for you guys to save time. You should be able to see our data, trend it, chart it by county, city, zip code, area, sub-area, neighborhood, and subdivision, and display those trends in a variety of ways very quickly. I got a call one day from someone in the Raleigh market looking for data or information about Mecklenburg County, who was able to pull together statistics in about 10 minutes, print those for them or print them to PDF, send it to them in 10 minutes time, something that probably would have taken me about an hour in tempo to pull the data, dump it into an Excel spreadsheet, and then make sense out of it, putting it into a chart format. So it's a time saver. It is not the answer to everything. If you're truly really digging for the research, you're going to pull it through tempo and you're going to map it out in a spreadsheet and look at it. But if you're trying to analyze something pretty quickly, you know, for a listing presentation at the last minute, you should be able to easily pull this off, show your clients, allow your colleagues in the office or find something different and new to talk about through social media by uploading a new chart or dispel a myth that you're hearing in the news and you say, wait a minute, that's not our market. You know, you can tweet about it, put it on Facebook, you become the expert in your sphere. So basically use that tool and without further ado, I'm going to let Brian, who is our CMLS trainer, he goes out, does a lot of to sales meetings and to your office. If you've got, I think what is your minimum, 7 people, 10 people, and you can get 10 people together, Brian will come and talk to you, give you the inside scoop, tempo tips, help your, simplify your life as far as understanding how to use the tools, whether it's SAM or whether it's tempo. So, Brian, I will turn it over to you. And he's going to give us a guided tour through SAM.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. We're very close.
All right. So we're going to talk about SAM. All right, good? Yep. So I'm going to show you first how to get to SAM. Actually, this is going to take you to the login page. But you're going to go to Carolina Realtor, and I hope one of these tabs is that. And if it's not, then I'll find it. Right here, SAM. Okay. I think we're probably going to move this eventually. It's not always going to be here on the home page. But I thought it was really funny that we had SAM here, and we also had SAM here. They're not related, except that they're both in this building. We're trying to give you a neat tool and also advise you to donate to RPAC, so you're welcome, RPAC. Not connected. So you're going to go here to log in, okay? You're going to use the same credentials that you use for the Tempo system. Just to remember those. Oh, and those employees.
Can you move the frame up?
Move the frame up? Sure. You're going to log in, and you're immediately going to get a report. Okay, isn't that great? You don't have to do anything to get a report for the entire CMLS area. So first, you want to look to the upper left-hand corner, defining your location. Where am I looking? Okay, entire CMLS area here. The report that comes up for you automatically is going to be the one called the median sales price. Okay? And it's going to be a 12-month rolling, sorry, just click on breakout. Get with the ghost already. You're going to get a 12-month rolling cycle. Okay, so it's a 12 months back to July of last year. And then you can also switch over to a monthly, okay, which would give you the current month over the last 3 years. All right? At the bottom of this, so you just got a little bar chart here that kind of tells you what the difference is from July through June of 08 to 09, then 09 to 10, and then 10 to 11, and you'll see the changes there. And then at the bottom, you'll also have a graph that represents that as well. Now, the cool thing about the graph is this is going to go back all the way to 05 in this case, back 6 years. Okay? And notice also, this is really cool. Sometimes when you look at a bar chart, you kind of have to eyeball where these things intersect. On this, you can just place your pointer on the little bar chart, and it'll tell you what month you're in, and also the exact value that you want, okay, for that particular month on that line. Okay? It's a lot easier to read it. Okay, it's sort of interactive. It's that flash component. You Apple users. Sorry. All right. So we've got our. Only certain people laugh at that. All right. So this is just a median sales price metric here. Across the bottom, you can change that metric. So if you're not a real fan of the median sales price, you can switch over to average sales price. So let's click to that, and you'll see those numbers will change. Okay, the graph will change a little bit. Okay, it went up. Why'd they go up? Because that one that's real high priced, right? Okay, so we understand that. Okay, so everyone is a better view of what you're trying to find. Okay, then you've got average price per square foot. This one's going to be depressing, I think. All right, well, there we go. Okay. Again, this is the entire CMLS area. You're not going to see as drastic of a change if you break it down to a neighborhood as you would for the entire CMLS. Okay? Percentage of original list price. Okay? We've always represented a list price to sale price ratio, but it's always been related to the last list price. Okay, this is actually looking back at the original list price. You're going to get a little bit different number here. The percentages are going to be a bit lower than you're traditionally seeing, but it really represents where this thing started. Okay, rather than where it was at the end when it finally sold, okay, or where it is now, and then we're also going to have a list price to sale price as well. Okay, it does. But again, we've never represented in the MLS. We've always done list price to sale price. We've never done original current list, so it's something new. List to close time. Okay. Pretty steady. Place your names there for the last 3 years. And your supporting graph at the bottom. Months of supply, or your, what do you call that, absorption rate. Okay, months of supply. And again, right now we're just looking at the entire MLS. We'll break it down a little bit to one of the areas that you can define here in the upper left-hand corner. Okay. Again, these are just the reports that you can present. Okay, homes for sale, new listings. Okay, just click across. We always want to see those numbers at the top. Over the time frame. So fewer new listings entered in the current year. And so on across the line. So nothing new there, I'm sure, for you guys. Just to understand, these are the different metrics that you can define within the page here. Now, if we want to get it down to a specific, more hyper-local area, up here in the upper left-hand corner, you can select a filter. Okay? And if you can't see the back, it says filter. And right now we're on all choice, meaning the entire MLS. You've got area, city, county, zip code, sub-area, and subdivision.
Wow,
okay?
Nice.
Like that. Now, the reality of this is, if you're doing something by name, you don't even have to choose a filter. Like if you want a zip code, for example, just click in the box and type the zip code. Okay? So you don't necessarily, 28, my computer's not acting, 07, looks like 281, you guys know that one. Okay? You can just type it in. It'll find it. And you notice as you type more, it removes some of the choices, obviously, because those weren't matching when I had entered so far. Sub-area you can do there. Those might be better chosen from a list. Your areas and sub-areas definitely from a list is better because you're probably going to want to look at the area and then pick the sub-areas that you want. I know we've already identified an issue with that we're going to talk to Ken 10K about and how they're sorting those, but you should be able to find everything you need. Everything's in the list. It just might not be ideally sorted right now, but that is something that we have learned this morning, and we're going to work to fix that. So 10K is very receptive to any issues we have in there. They can fix it pretty quickly. So we're looking at a zip code here, and I'm going to generate that. Okay, and here are our new listings. And so you'll see it just took me to the metric that I was looking at under the entire MLS. If I go back down here and say, well, I want median sales price, let's see what happens with that zip code. I'm going to go up a little bit. Okay, so you see that's going up. It's good news, right? Okay. And that's sales. That really happened. Okay. Not what people think should happen. But it really happened. Okay. So any questions about that? Just quick. Okay, you've got more time at the end to get specific questions about information or how to do this, but any questions about just that? Okay?
What is a share about a book?
We're going to get to that, Sergio, promise. Okay. All right, so we've got our reports, our metrics at the bottom. We've got our locations here on the left. Okay, so pick the location that defines the best for you. Now, what's cool here on the left is I can also break this data out. Okay? I've got these breakouts that I can pick 2 of. Again, in the back it says pick up to 2. Okay? And I can do a price range breakout of this same data. I can do a property type breakout, a sales type, property types being single family and condo only, sales type breakout, bedroom counts, and also resale and new construction breakout as well. So in other words, resales or new properties in the market. Okay? So if I do a breakout of price ranges, this is what I get. This same data, but broken out now, a little detail, okay, at price points. Now the price points you're going to see are defined by 10K based on the inventory that it's going to pull here. Okay, so your price ranges aren't always going to be, in this case, 234 and down. Okay, it will depend on where the prices sit in that area that I selected. So some areas that are lesser priced, at a lesser priced area, that lower range is going to start at like 170 or 130. It just depends on where things are. Okay, so it just generates those logically to represent that market. Okay, so what we're seeing now is the time frames defined by color coding. So right here we've got July to June of 08 to 09, and that's going to be the red bar. Okay, and the price point. So here's 239 and below, 235 to 375, and so on. And then there's our, I guess, our luxury market, 679 and above. Okay, and again, that red one represents the 08-09 time frame. The gray bar would represent the 09 to 10, and the black bar, the dark gray, would represent the 10 to 11, or current, okay, last month. Okay, and then again at the bottom, now this is going to be a little more detailed. I've struggled with this because graphs are tough for me. Okay, but you get a graph that sort of represents that same thing at the top. Now the color coding down here would be a little different. The color coding down here would be the price points, or I'm sorry, the price ranges. Okay, so that the gray would be what's represented here over the time frame of January 05 again, back 6 years, up to the current. Okay, so you can get a little more time down here. All right. Now again, you can do 2 breakouts. You ready to get really confused? All right. Let's do sales types. So we'll talk about what Kim was talking about with the lender median and stuff. Sales types, we're going to do 2 breakouts. We're going to do a price range breakout, and we're going to do a sales type breakout. So now we're going to get 6 panes in the window. Have fun with this. Okay, it's all about how we interpret it, though, and how we use it. So understand it first before you go present it out there to somebody else. All right, now you've got all these great little pictures here, which none of you can see, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is show you another function of this. Is when you're looking at multiple reports or multiple graphs on the screen, in the upper right-hand corner of each of these, you're going to have this little item that allows you to basically maximize that proportion. Okay, so you can look at them individually. So we'll just look at this one that says traditional. And so what we're looking at here is the traditional sales still by our price points, okay? And again, still with our years represented, okay? But just in traditional sales, okay? None of the short sales, none of the foreclosures. Yes? What are they saying? It's median sales price still. Still on median sales price. Okay, so these are going to be your median sales prices for the years, the time frames. Remember, red is the 08 to 09, The gray is the 09 to 10, and the dark gray is the 10 to 11. Okay. But we're just looking at the traditional sales now and not everything. Okay. And this is where the problem came up yesterday that Kim alluded to that we discovered, in that we were running this with the breakout of sales types, and the total, if we added all these numbers up of the traditional, the short sales, and the foreclosures, actually was more than if we ran it just on the general median sales price for the entire MLS. And the reason is because we had 88, I think she said, about 88 listings that came up in a foreclosure and a short sale search. So that's why we had more. So it wasn't an error, it was just how they scrubbed the data, and we want to be as accurate as possible, but unfortunately sometimes when we're really thorough, we get more than we want, okay? Which is what we got. But as long as you understand that, you should be able to interpret that. And again, it didn't really throw anything off that much. It was 88 listings out of 20,000. It wasn't a lot.
If you see something in the range of 200 or 300 off, we can definitely be pushing policy. But I would say under 100, we're still right.
Okay? And remember, you can trend this from the 12-month perspective or the monthly perspective, looking at this month this year, this month last year, this month the previous year. And with that one too, I like this a lot. When you do look at one of these breakouts, the graphs at the bottom are really going to show the graph here instead. By the way, if you want to collapse those, just click it again and it'll hide that. The graphs at the bottom really show you the seasonal trends here. You're looking at the monthly. I think I just made too much there. Yeah, it's just super slow. Okay. So, wait for it load. Now, let's talk about the breakouts. While this is loading, maybe it'll come up while I'm talking. If you've got two breakouts selected, okay, the last one takes priority. Meaning, if I go to choose another one, the first one I chose is going to go away. Okay, the second one I selected will remain. Okay, so if I want to go look at, let's say, property types, but I want to look at it with my price ranges, I've got to go select property types first, which removes price changes, and then I've got to go choose price ranges again, which will remove the sales type. Does that make sense? Because the second one kind of drives it. So you've always got to go back and select that main one if that was the first one you selected. Okay? Again, two breakouts at one time. And if you want to remove a breakout that you're using currently, I want to remove property types, I click on that, and it goes back to my original with just my price ranges. Okay, so to click to select it, I click to deselect it, two at a time, the second one drives it. Okay? Now, something Sergio talked about. Well, before I talk about what Sergio asked, I want to talk about how you can brand this. Okay? Because if you use this, you want to brand it to yourself or your company. So you have the ability to, on your reports, put your contact information, which we've done most of that for you already. So you're going to see your name, I think your phone number, your email address. But you're going to have a choice to put additional information. You put a tagline on it. You can put your picture. You can put some additional contact information, whether it be a phone number, a fax line, whatever you want, cell phone. So you can add additional content. I'm going to show you where to do that. When you're logged in, it'll, of course, welcome you here by number. Okay? And you're going to click on My Profile, and this is going to load a screen that allows you to define some additional information about yourself. Okay? And you'll see how this works. Most of this is going to be automatically from your MLS profile. Okay? So most of this we've taken care of. You're going to see these sections that say Manual that are going to allow you to put in whatever you want. Okay? So I added a phone number here. I added a tagline, Sam is the stats. Okay? You can add a little bit of office information. I'm sorry. Check the box, and it'll change it to manual, and then you can change it. Okay? And it'll always stay. Good question. Everybody hear that question? How you change the automatic? If you don't like the numbers that are coming over for some reason or the information, just check the box that switches it from manual to automatic. Unchecked is manual, checked is automatic. Okay? For the most part, I mean, it's good to have it automatic because then whenever you update something in a member record, it updates everywhere. Tempo, here, everywhere. So that's a good thing. Okay? But sometimes you want to add additional stuff. Okay, then there's the office section where you can add your professional title, the name of your company if you want. Okay, there's your address, all that good stuff there. And then there's an update button there. Okay? All the way at the bottom is the place where you can upload your photo. I'm sorry, but I can't bring that any higher. But there's your picture. Okay, and the way you put that in, of course, is you just go browse for it and find it. and then submit it to the system. And you'll see in a minute when I generate one of these reports that's going to show up on the report. So you brand it with your company logo, you brand it with your personal photo, however you want to do it. Okay. Picture your dog, whatever you want to do. Yes?
And that's permanent until you change it again.
So you change it again. Yep. It's not driven, unlike Tempo where some of the stuff is broker charge driven, this is driven totally by you. So as long as you have a copy of that company logo, if you want to use it, you can upload it. You don't have to wait on somebody else to do that. Okay? I think that was sort of your question. You don't want somebody else changing it when you make it something you want.
Or it's not like I have to reset for every
No.
every
One
time I
it's there.
decide to pull a
Yeah, I
report
did
for
this
somebody.
a week ago. So yeah, always there. Okay? And of course, don't forget the update button after you've changed any information here. Okay? I'm going to go back to the top. I'm going to go back to the interactive tool. We're going to talk about how we now present this. Okay? Whatever you've got on the screen, you want to present it. So you're going to go to the bottom left-hand corner, and you're going to find three options. Your traditional print option, okay, print to a hard copy or PDF or file, email it, or share it to social media. Okay? So the first choice, let's go to print. Okay, this will give you an idea of what these are going to look like everywhere. I'm going to go print. Now, because I have two charts on the screen, this is going to be the case all the time. 10K doesn't assume that you want to present both those charts. Okay, they're going to give you a choice. Do you want to present both of them? Do you want to present one of them? Okay, one or the other. Okay, so notice it says click on the chart you want to print. Print you can't use until you do that. Okay, so pretty simple. Okay, just got to read. Simple, right? All right. So over here, we're going to click on the chart we want to share. Let's just say we want to print that one. Okay, I selected. Notice it's pretty obvious that I'm going to be printing that one. Okay, if I want to go print this one, I go click it as well, and now they're both going to be printed. Okay, and if I want to remove one, click again. All right. And then I'm going to go down here and say print. It all went back. Both didn't generate. And there's what I get. Okay, nice printable page with my picture at the top. There's my tagline, all the additional information. I think there's an extra phone number there. Okay, it also defines where I was looking, and then there's the charts that I'm going to be printing. Okay, and what you'll use is just a printer that you would use for Internet Explorer. Okay, it's a PDF, and you can actually print from the PDF down here if you want, or you can print to your printer at the top, whichever you prefer. So you're printing a web page. Okay. And when you print that, you can print it obviously to a printer, a physical device where it prints on paper, or to a file if you have that functionality available to you in your print drivers. Okay? So you can print it to either place. Sorry. Or save it, yes.
If you have multiple charts, let's say you're generating 10 or 15 of these, you've only got two right now, you're going to do a whole presentation. So you'll file save and save to your hard drive, and then what you want to do is be able to bind all of these PDFs together once you've got them downloaded on your system.
Yeah, because you can't do multiple areas at the same time. That's the reason, I guess. Yeah, that question. All right. So that's the print. Make sure I close the right one here. I'm just going to minimize this. I always do this. Close the wrong thing. You ever do that? Nobody does that. Yeah. All right. The next option is to email it. Okay, sort of the same concept here. Email. Again, what do you want to email? This one, and then you simply click email. This one's a little more difficult because this is there's an extra step here. And so some people get lost. Well, that's not emailing anything. But I'll save it again and email it. Well, the email link is actually right here. It's kind of tough to see, but it's right there in the little envelope. Okay, so it's going to be. It took me a minute on that one. Okay, I did email from file, send to. Worked pretty good, but that's where we really want you to email from because it then brings up our email form. Okay, we can send it from there. Okay, and notice you can also send it to a specific recipient and a specific client. Okay.
10K is also already aware that all wants to be able to email multiple things at once, so they are actually let them know that we'd like to be able to not just email one chart or two charts at a time and have to create multiple emails over and over again. So they are coming up with a fix.
Is Gateway available? Gateway contact?
No. The only way these are connected is by data, not by functionality. Okay? And then the last one, what I'm most excited about, I'm guessing a lot of you are as well, is the sharing option. Okay? Share. Again, what do I want to share? Click share. And I'm actually going to share this to my Facebook page so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay. Notice at the top where I want to share this. Okay, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, WordPress, Tumblr, and then 340, used to be 340, that changes all the time. 330 different places you can share this. Okay, I'm guessing that if you're sharing it somewhere that's not in this list, one of two things is true. Either you're using the wrong venue, it's not popular, or we just don't have it, we need to add it, and just request it, and we'll send it to DK and say, hey, there's this other place out there that people would like to share to, let's go ahead and give them that option as well. Okay? So I'm guessing that everywhere you share is in that list. Okay, it's just that little plus sign, and then you can go here and say 330 more, and there they are. Some of those I have no idea what they are. Okay? Like that? Okay. Anything on that? Good? Oh, yeah. I'll tell you about this. True story. How this has been used. I did a demo for what Kim talked about. I come to an office, I'll do a demo of this for your office. I did a demo, there were about 40 people there. And there was a gentleman in the back, and he was following along with me, and he pulled the neighborhood, and he sent it out to Facebook. So I got back to the office, and I got an email from the broker in charge of that office to everybody in the office and back to me saying how somebody implemented this. And what had happened is he had not only shared it out, but guess what had happened? Somebody on his list commented on it. And their comment was not just, hey, this is great, but it was, hey, this is great. Can you give me that same information for fill in the blank neighborhood? I don't remember what it was. But somebody practically used it within 30 minutes and got response, got feedback on that, how great it was, and they wanted more. Okay, real easy. Share it. Now, here's one thing. Thank you for that, too. One thing about sharing, who has a business page and a personal page? Make sure you're logged into the right one. Because it'll automatically send it to the one you're logged into. That's not going to hurt anything if you send it to your personal page, but those aren't probably the people you want to touch. Okay? Make sure you're logged into the right page before you share this. Okay, or just if you like to share it again. Make sense? Okay. All right.
Ryan,
Yes.
there's a picture slot. Where's the area for a logo?
It's just one slot. So it's either photo or it's either picture or logo. You have to choose. That's the request maybe. To have both? You like to have both?
Yeah.
What? One time again for more questions. So if you got some questions, write them down. We'll cover those in a little bit. What I want to talk about next is something I'm really, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me do that. Thanks. Did one today. Yeah, share Facebook. I'll have to log in, I think. That's hard. Oh, there it is. I'm already logged in, so it's going to share, so I can just say here, we'll set it again. Share that. That should come up. It's my page. There we go. Should have already. And that tells me, oh, here it is right here. It's telling me a lot on it. Otherwise, I can share that now. Probably not one thing. Oh, I am. And then let's go here. share that little graph there. That's what it looks like. So it gives you a little preview. People always love those, right? Graphs and charts. So whenever they see that on the page, they're like, what's that chart? And when they click on it, it's going to open up the chart. Okay, and it finds. Okay. Now I clicked on, you can click on either one. I think you can click on the picture here, or you can click on the link there. Where on the sharing, whatever my default was. I think it said with a thumbnail. Yeah. Just adds the pictures. You can have it not add the picture if you want. Okay? All right, the next thing I want to talk about, yes. It'll give you a choice of which account, if they're connected, right?
Yeah.
If they're connected, yeah. A lot of people don't, sure.
Brian, when you give the list flows, is that from the original list? I know in one of the drafts.
For that MLS number, yes.
So
Yes.
The original list didn't flow.
Yes.
Right.
Well, you know what? I'm not certain on that, Sandy. I'm not sure. The one that says original list is original list, but I think the list to close is still from the. Well, no, the list date from the. You got the dates, the time, right? The dates. Yeah, it's from the original list date of that number, of that MLS number. So yeah, so if you had, so that yes, that listing could be represented 3 or 4 times in the statistics. It's always been an issue. It's still going to be an issue. It may be that when we talk about the CDOM, we may be able to address that. I'm not sure. So that may change. But right now it still is on that MLS number. How many days? This looks at days on market. Yeah. Question? Good? All right, again, questions till the end. If you have more, I will have time for that. I want to talk now about our report manager in Tempo. Anybody ever played with it? Report manager? Show of hands. These have been in your office, right? I'm really excited about this because a year ago, when we switched over to Tempo 5, there wasn't really a lot of new stuff available. It was just different ways to do the things you did before. Okay, this was the new thing. This was brand new. We'd never had anything like this before. And I thought this really would open you up to being unique in the market. Okay, imagine this. Okay, just some real simple concepts I'm going to cover today with the report manager. I can't go through my whole class. I just don't have the time, and I do teach this here. So if you're interested in learning and doing it in a lab situation, sign up for my class. It's offered this month, and I wish I had the date, but I'll get it for you before we leave. Think about this. Who does this? You print out a bunch of MLS sheets, and then you take that stack, and you go through one at a time. You got your highlighter in this hand. Who's doing that? Okay, highlight. Do the next one. Highlight. What do you highlight? The price, things like that, square footage, whatever that client's interested in. Well, what if you could have a report that would automatically do that for you, so when you print it, it's already highlighted? Like that? Is that a time saver?
Yeah.
Okay. What about, who remembers the red lines? What am I talking about? That separated the sections of the reports, right? Okay. Well, if you want those red lines back, you can put them back with this report manager I'm going to show you. Okay. What if you're printing out MLS sheets? Does anybody print MLS sheets on their branded stationery? Anybody do that? What if you could put your logo and your picture right on the MLS listing sheet, so when it's printed or you emailed it, your picture and your logo are right there? And take that a step further. What if you could link those to your website? Like that?
Yes.
All through Tempo. Now you like the money you're paying for MLS, right? All right. So let's go look at this. Again, just a brief overview of how this thing works and some of those neat concepts that you can create in your listings. Okay? So we'll log in here. Hopefully it won't let me close all windows, but Debbie will be mad at me. Okay, so we're talking about the report manager. It's located under reports and report manager. Okay, this is where all your reports that you create, that you copy, that are already built for you are stored. Okay, so we'll go there, report manager. It's going to bring up a list. Okay, so if anybody's used to using the prospect manager or the contact manager, same thing. all your reports by name. Okay? You'll notice when you first go into this, if you've never used it before, everything you see is going to be what's called a system report. Already created for you. So those are things like brief report, full report, one-page full report media. Y'all familiar with those? Okay. And they are read-only, meaning you can only use these. You can't change them. You can only use them to display listings. Okay? Well, then you'll start seeing these things called personal reports as you start creating more that are not read-only, meaning I can do whatever I want with those. Okay, so here are mine. I got one called 7-Up. I got one called the Brian Extra Special. I got one for a company I did a training for. I've got a brief report with media that I created. So this was a copy of something that already existed. There's a customer full that's mine, a class flyer, and a class sample. And these are all kind of training tools that I've kind of created these on the fly. And you'll notice also where they're created, single family, and then there's also some different styles that you can create with that report manager. So you got a flyer style and a multiple row style, which I think are probably going to be the most popular versions of this report manager. Okay, and also when you modified it last. Okay, so this just kind of gives you a list of all your reports. Yes?
What's in blue? What is the
Oh, I just chose personal. It just allows me to filter. It was set to all, meaning I was seeing not only my reports, but also all the system reports.
But what is that called? Next to
It says owner.
owner.
Owner,
That's
yeah.
what I couldn't
Yeah.
read. Thanks.
And that's the owner column right there. It just filters that owner column and lets me see just my personal. Also, brokers in charge. I shouldn't even say this. Don't be mad at me. If you got something that you want to share, okay, if you have an assistant maybe that works for you that creates something, they can actually save these, and I'll show you as I go through this, that they can be saved on an office or a firm level. Okay, so they can be shared down to everybody. So if the broker in charge has something they want to share down to the people in the office so they're consistent with how we present information, they can create something and share it down to everybody. I'll show you how to do that. Okay. Also remember that you can look at them by type. Okay, so I can go here and say, well, I want to see the condo townhouse reports or the multifamily reports or even the open house report, okay, or the history. I can actually change how that looks as well for myself. Okay. All right. So at the bottom, you have choices here. Right now, my only choice is new report. Okay, and you'll notice that if I go select a report, I'm just going to select this one called rentals. The only option that becomes available to me then is called copy. Okay, because remember, who owns this? The system. So I can't change the properties, I can't edit it, and I can't delete it because it doesn't belong to me. So the answer to that, to making it your own, is simply create a copy of it. Okay, so this is what I would probably recommend most of you do. I wouldn't recommend that you go out and recreate the wheel, because there's probably something out there that you like, that you just don't like a couple pieces of it, or you'd like to add to. Okay, so again, don't recreate the wheel if you don't have to. There's probably something out there that you can tweak a little bit to help you. Okay, so we'll look at that from a copy standpoint first, and just talk about like highlighting and adding lines and things like that, and then I'll get into the concept of actually doing something from new briefly. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go into my single families. I'm going to go to one that you're familiar with. We're going to go to the one called the one-page full. We'll do the one-page customer full, okay? So I got to do this. Be careful, I do this all the time. If you check one, and then you go and filter, and you check something else, it won't let you copy because you get two things selected, and you'll scroll through that list 100 times. Well, I've only got one thing selected, but it's because you filtered the list, it's selected, and it's not showing. So make sure that you only select one thing when you're copying. Okay, so I'm going to go to one-page customer full, and I'm going to click copy. Okay, and what you're about to see is all the work that was involved in creating this one report. Okay, a lot of work involved in creating these reports, and here it is. Makes sense, doesn't it? What we're looking at here is just a page full of merge fields. Okay, put this data here with this label. Okay, put that picture there. Photo slot number 1, primary photo, right? Okay, so all this was just basically drag and drop from the left-hand side into the workspace here. Okay, now what you might not be able to see in the back is it's on like graph paper, so it helps you line things up. Okay, there's some neat little tools that I can show you that'll help you line those things up easier with a snap to grid function, if you like that. Okay, so basically what they did, MarketLinks did, is they took and they built this report by dragging data fields over into the page. Okay, all your data fields are here. Okay, they also pulled over images. So down here at the bottom, I'll pull it up. Down here at the bottom, they can upload images. So I'm going to click on images, and that's going to open up here. And you've got things like property images, which obviously that is. Okay. Then you've got things like your personal images and agent images, which would be your picture that you use for Client Gateway. And did you know that in the preferences area under My Photos, you had 9 slots for images for yourself, personal? So what kind of images would define you? Your company logo, which your broker in charge is going to upload hopefully, so you don't have to really waste that space, but if you want another version of it, maybe you should do that. What else? What else defines you? Your pets, your dog, very good. What else? So I got a designation?
Where you're located, lake or...
Yeah, if you got a picture that represents, your area. If you work downtown, you want a picture of the skyline, right? Put a picture of that out there. Okay, put in this report. Your designation logos. Okay. If you do, you can create a flyer of this. Maybe you partner with a nonprofit. Okay, Housing Opportunity Foundation, maybe. Okay. You can put logos out there. Okay, so remember in the preferences area where you uploaded your photo for Client Gateway, there are 8 additional slots there to upload pictures that define you. Okay, that you're going to be able to utilize here. And those will be located here under Agent Image, and then there's a list of those 9 images. Okay, some of these images are like headers and footers, so they would be more banner style. Okay, so you create like a business card and a banner. Okay, and then a lot of them are going to be portrait or landscape orientation, depending on what it is. So you put a picture of your team there, yourself, maybe a couple versions, the glamour shots and the real thing. So those are your images, okay? And then also, brokers in charge, where you uploaded the company logo, okay? Remember that in that second slot for Client Gateway again? Brokers in charge have 14 images that can be shared to the office, okay? Broker in charge can share 14 images down to the office that can be utilized here, okay? And then, of course, you had your property images as well. Okay? And the property images would be, of course, first you got to select the slot where that property image is. And again, we have our 16 slots. Which picture is it? Okay, and then it's just dragging this over. Okay? So the way that photo was added was they just took and drug that property photo over, dropped it in there, and they probably resized it because it's a little larger. Okay, so it's just drag and drop, whatever you want. I'm going to drag a little personal photo in there in just a second to show you. Okay? I got that? Where the photos sit? Okay? And then the last item is the toolbox. Okay? And this is where those 2 tools are that I'm going to show you. Okay? The toolbox. You got a text box. Okay, so you can add your own personalized text. You've got a line. Here's our red line. So here's an opportunity for me to add the red line to this report. Okay, so if you'll remember, they used to separate these sections. Okay? Now we have created that grayed out version, which I think most people like, but if you like the line separation, you want some color, you can do this. Okay? So I'm just going to throw a line right in there where rooms is. So I'm just going to click and drag it over. Okay, and we'll drop it right there. Now, what's the problem with that line as it is? I still got to click, by the way. It's too short, it's not red, and for some of you it's not thick enough. Watch what happens when I let go. What color do I want it? Red. By the way, you can't do this if you haven't installed your ActiveX controls. So do it. Okay? Is it horizontal or vertical? We want it horizontal. And then what's the width of the line? Okay, so I want it really thick there. Okay, and then I click and get a preview of it, see how it is. And then now, what's the problem with it? Too short, so I'm going to just grab it as an object. Notice, grab my, it's harder with this handheld than with a real mouse. So that would be move it, right? The forehead there, everybody's familiar with that concept. Move that. If I want to move it, I want to extend it. Come on. There we go, double-headed, see that? I'm going to click and simply extend it all the way to the end. There's my red line. What do I do with that? After I've done all that work, close it, right? And then, oops, forgot to save it. Right, save. Okay, yeah, save and save as. If it's not yours, either one will work. Okay, If it's something you're copying that's yours and you want to create another version of it, you want to keep both, make sure you click the right save or save as, because it will overwrite the old one if you're not careful. Okay? You have things like frames. You can add a frame to a picture maybe. Okay? Date and timestamps, page numbers. Okay? How many listings you can actually count, and have it count the number of listings that come up in a search. Okay? You can add a little thumbnail map. Let me just drag this over and show you. It's just a little thumbnail. You can drop that in anywhere. Okay? I'll show you can resize these too. You drop that in. You can do a chart. Maybe you looked at the charts that are available from the iBubble when you're looking at listings. I know what I'm talking about. The iBubble little charts. It's just based on the area and the sub-area where the property is. So you can add those charts to your reports. When you drop those charts in, it selects it, asks you which one you want, the days on market one, or the I think list price to sale price chart. There's a couple of them that you can use. So you drop those in there. So just some different tools that you can drop into your report. Okay. What I'm going to do next, after I do the highlighting, because I want to show you guys this, is go to a brand new page so I can drop some things in and kind of show you how you can format them a little bit. Okay. How are we doing on time? We good? All right. So you guys are highlighting price, right? Okay. Well, you can do one of two things here. You'll notice you have your standard formatting tools across the top. I'm guessing most of you know what most of these are. There's your fonts, there's your bold, italics, underline, your color, your justification, your frame, copy, cut, copy, and paste, how large you want it, all that. Okay. You can use those. So what would that be under? If I went to list price and clicked on that, what would that be under? Tough, huh? Here's why I like this. Who cares? Because watch, if I double click on list price, watch what happens. It opens up all the properties for that piece. And so where is it now? Much easier, right? Things under border. There it is. What's my border? Is it a border or is it a background color? Background color. What color? You want a yellow, right? I go there. Or green, color money. Puts that color in. I'm going to click OK at the bottom. And now when I print my reports out in this format, it's always going to be highlighted with the price. Highlight anything you want. Okay? So you don't have to go back and do extra work. Prints out for you the way you want it.
Do you have to hit save?
What's that?
You have to hit save?
Yeah, once you save that, you give it a name. So you call this the customer full report with highlights. So that way when you go to print, you pick that one from the list. When you go to email, you pick that one from the list. Okay? Or when you're just viewing listings in the MLS, you pick it from the list. Okay? Because this is going to appear in every list that any report that you normally see appears, whether it's emailing, printing, or viewing. Is it clear? Okay. So do your highlights. You can even increase the font size if you want. Okay. And we'll talk about that with a new report here. All right. Again, maybe take something that you already have and kind of tweak it a little bit. Okay. And then we'll talk about creating something new. Question.
Is there a way in customizing exactly what you're on? Now we have an arrow that says price has gone down, price has gone up. Could you display the various changes up there as
yes.
well, like you would get from the archive?
There is that's a good question. There is, on the data field, there's the prefix, and I'm not sure if I click on that, if that's a prefix. It's got the $. I don't know if it shows that or not. Debbie, you know? Have a lot of experience with this.
I think that's built in.
It's built in. So but there's some formatting, like they had to add a prefix of the $sign there. Kind of like the same thing you do with your grids, maybe, if you've worked with the grids in the system before. But I think that arrow is a function of the system embedded in their universal system for everybody.
But what I was asking is, could you display, as a part of manipulating this report, list price today, list price 3 weeks ago?
Oh yeah, you can do, yeah, there are data fields. You just have to find space for it. You pull data fields over, sorry. You pull the data fields called. Oops, close this one.
You get that via the archive.
Yes, but I hear where you're coming from now, yes. And this will just be a matter of, I got to find a place to put this because this is pretty full, okay? So it might be better to do it with the full report because it's 4 pages. But you just go over here and find those price fields, whatever they are, okay? So I'll go over here and find price, and you'll see all the different price fields that we have available. I think that's what you're talking about. List price, original, previous, and then price, and then sales price. So you just have to find a place to drag those over if you wanted to represent them all together kind of as a as a flow. This is where it started, next, next, next. And you can add those, but of course you couldn't do it there. You'd have to create something at the bottom possibly for that. So good question. Okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a new report, because this will kind of, again, this is there's a lot of detail here. So I want to show you the basics and how we use this and some neat little things that you can do with it. So I'm back here to my report manager. I'm going to go new report now at the bottom. Now, because it's a new report, it's going to ask me what format. The other one didn't ask me the format because the format was already there. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate this in the flyer format. The most popular, I would guess, are probably going to be either the flyer or the multiple row format. Okay? And I'm going to show you one of those that I created. But we're going to go to the flyer format to demonstrate creating something from scratch. So I go flyer, and then I click OK at the bottom. And this is going to bring up, instead of all those merge fields in my page, now a blank page for me to start working. Okay? And so over here on the left, I've got my data fields. Okay? And I'm just going to quickly bring over a couple things. I'm going to bring over the address. So right here, I'm going to click and bring over the address. Put it where I want it. Okay? Easy enough? Okay? Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pull another data field. I'm going to pull over bathrooms. And I'm going to do just total baths for now. Now, when I pull over total baths, it's going to pull it over, right? But what is that? It's going to be a number. So if I just got this report out there and it has this address, it just has this number 3 on it, what's that going to look like? A 3. And nobody's going to know what it is, right? So I want to do this. I want to delete that. And you can delete by either the red X at the top or your delete key on your keyboard. Confirm. It goes away. With some of these data fields, you're going to want to pull over the label. Meaning, what is this? Okay, so it's going to say total baths and then the 3. And that's down here. I just check the box that says include label. And then now I'm going to pull over that same field, total baths, and look what it does. So now I know what that 3 is. 3 here, total baths here. Okay, and remember too, if you don't like total baths, you don't like the name of it for some reason, you can go into it and edit it. So I can just go in and take out. Part I don't want. So maybe I just want to say baths. I can do that. Okay. So it's just adding a text box that's set static for whatever the number comes over on that listing. Yes.
When you make this is a generic for each one.
Yes.
In other words,
This is merge field. So when you do a search and you pull up 40 listings, I'm going to display 40 listings with the address, with the baths label, and then the number of baths on each one individually. So it pulls the data from each listing. Yep. Okay? So remember, it's the field without the label or the field with the label, depending on what you need. Okay? Now, each of these, again, has its own properties. How do I get to the properties? Double click, opens up the box. I can change the font. Okay? I can change the border. I can put a hyperlink on it. We're going to talk about hyperlinks with photos in just a minute. Okay? I can align it. So that probably would be the best aligned center. Okay? And then I can also, of course, change the font whatever I want. I can change the 10 point, make it a little larger. I can bold italics or underline it. While I'm here, this is something we ran into. Unfortunately, wrap text is not default. Okay? So if you pull over the remarks, these are the ones that's going to be an issue with. Remarks, directions, agent remarks, company remarks. If you don't check the box that says wrap text, you're only going to see the first line because the rest of them are just going to keep going after that wall. Okay, so make sure you do the wrap text on anything that's going to fill the space and then some. Okay? All right, to put borders around this, if I want to put a little border around this section, I can. I can just put a little green, and we'll make it wide so you guys can see the back around that address. Okay. It's green, wide, style, like that. There we go. All right, see, now it's got a border. Now the problem here is going to be it's too small, my address isn't going to fit, so I can, of course, resize these, just like I did with that line. Click and drag it down and extend it. Very much like Publisher. If anybody's worked with Publisher, text boxes and image boxes, same thing. Okay? All right, your image is down here in the bottom left. You want to drag an image over. Okay, for this one, I'm going to pull over the property image, slot number 1, or the main photo. So I've got that selected, property image, slot number 1. Remember, pick your slot here. So if you're creating a media gallery, you don't have to zip through all these, as many photos as you want to add. And then you're simply going to drag that photo over. Okay, so that's where the photo is going to be. And again, you can resize those if you want. Now with your photos, be careful. Make sure you resize from the corner on your photos. Okay, and not from the sides. Yeah, you make it really skinny. Okay, so you just resize that like that. And you can put a border around it or a frame or whatever you want to do. Okay. Now with your photos, I'm going to go to the personal photos here, your agent images. And here I want to add my agent photo. Okay, so I'm going to pull my personal picture over. I have a high opinion of myself, don't I? All right, so I want to resize that, obviously. I'm going to move that. Resize it down away from the corner. Well, I'm not going to resize that from the side. It's better. Okay, make it a little smaller. And then, this is what I love. Okay? If this is something you're going to share via email, and this is really important, if you're going to print this, you just pull your stuff over, make sure it's formatted nicely and print it. But if you intend to do some emailing with this format, this is what you want to do. Double click again on the component, and you're going to go to the hyperlink. Okay? What am I going to link to? My personal website, and then maybe I'm going to put my logo out there and link to my company website, right? So we'll do both. The hyperlink type, it's going to be called a navigation link. Okay, meaning it's going to go to a website. So I'm going to click on that, and then I simply type in the website I want to go to. And you don't have to do the HTTP. Carolina Home Program Series, is that what it is?
Yes.
All right. Y'all know about that, right? I click OK, and now I have a link on that. Okay. Now you can't interact with the links here in the work page. What you have to do, if you want to interact with that link, is go do what's called a preview. Okay. So I'm going to go up here and preview. It's going to show me what this looks like as long as I have an MLS listing. Bring in a number. I can search for it. It's okay. Give me that again. All right. 2010108. Okay. So I'll put that MLS number in. I can put multiples in, separated by commas if I want. If you do a search for a listing, it's going to pull your inventory, so you don't really have to do anything. You just pull up the window and click search, and it'll pull them up. Okay. Click OK. I'm going to preview that. This is what it looks like. Pretty, huh? All right. So I got work to do. All right. Well, look. So when you email this to somebody, they get it, they open it, they're going to link to your website. Okay? And so we can do the same thing with our company. So I'll repeat that again. We'll close the preview. Okay? And I can do the same thing with my company logo, which again is going to be under Office Images here. Okay? Office logo. Again, pull that over and resize it. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Double click. Hyperlink. Navigation link. Okay, the other links that are here, a report link would link to something in the system, like a map in Tempo. Okay, we'll see what those are. A listing report. Okay, a member record. So some of these are things that you're used to seeing. Like the map link is already on the address whenever you pull that over in the reports you have now. So these are just reports that are in the system. The links we want to do are either navigation links or report links generally. Okay, or an email link. If you don't have a personal website and you want somebody to click on your picture to open up their email program, you can have it do that and auto-populate your email address. Okay, just like you do on any website. Contact me, and it'll automatically put your email address in the to line. Okay? So again, we're going to do a navigation link on my company logo, and we're going to do okay that. And that's Realtor, and then that's going to link to Carolina Realtors. Okay, so I got two. I got a link to maybe my personal website and then my company website there. Okay. Again, think about that if you're going to email these reports. Make it interactive. Send people elsewhere. to see more. Okay? All right, and then finally, oh, and also, I forgot to mention this on the property images. Remember with the data fields, you had the label? Okay, you have the same thing here. Because remember, your pictures contain labels, possibly. Something other than exterior fronts. Right, hear me? Change those, please. All right. And then also the comments if you want. Okay. So if you're creating maybe a little media gallery, you want to define the photos. If the listing agent has done that, you can actually put those image names in. And that will work very similar to the way it did with the data fields. And now when you pull the photo over, notice it pulls the image slot, or the image name for slot number 1, and that would be exterior front, and then bedrooms and bathrooms and so on.
Can we change that?
Sorry?
Can we change that?
You cannot, well, I guess you could change the text. No, because that's a merge field. You can't change the text on that. Because it's not a label like the other one was, and that's going to change every time. So currently, no. And here's the thing: is unless we knew the order people put all their photos in, then we're looking at 100 people's listings. They're going to put their photos in different orders, so we don't always know that the kitchen is slot number 2. Does that make sense? Okay, so it wouldn't really help to do that because you define it for one, but then for the next one it wouldn't be right. The labels would be wrong. You have to upload those as images to your images area. I'll show you where that is. It's out of this. You can't directly put photos into this. You have to upload them to the image slots in Tempo for it to retrieve those. Okay. All right. I'll show you where that is. All right. Let me just pull up our map real quick just to show you what this is going to look like in a preview, and then I will be done. Okay. So there's our map. Pull that over. Yeah, this is going to be real pretty. I can already tell. It's for, remember, by property types, make sure you put in the right place, single family, condo, whatever. But yeah, it's just a page of merge fields that says, okay, look at these 40 listings and put that data where it needs to go. You got it. Okay. Yep. So there's my map, and then I'm going to go up here again and do a preview. Now here's the cool thing about the preview. If you stay in the system and you want to keep previewing, when you click preview again, look what comes up. So I have to know that number once. Okay, pulls it up, and then I can click OK, and it's going to preview that. And there's my logo, very big, and my map there. Yes. Yes, that's the multiple. We'll talk about that real quick. That's the multiple row report, which is also very popular. Let me go back to close. Okay, so let's go new report again. Oh, we can do that. New report. Okay, that's what we call the multiple row report. Okay, and so what this is it starts out as I think a 3 per page report or 4. Okay, but it's got a new component to it. Okay, it has a header. Okay, and I'll show you one I created in this, which I think you'll like. You might want to emulate this. You can make your header bigger. Okay, so if I need more space at the top, so maybe business card, logo, whatever there. Okay, and then down here, notice we're going to design our format in just one section of this full page, because all it's going to do is duplicate that. In this case, some of you can't see this. It says 3 records per page. So it's going to duplicate whatever I create here for the first listing 2 more times for the next 2 listings. And then if I have 20 of them, it's going to print to how many other pages that I need to. And it's also going to put that same header at the top of every one of those pages. Okay? So again, I'm just working in this space right here, and it duplicates down to the additional spaces with all the other listings. Okay? Yeah, so if I want more than 3, all I got to do is just adjust my workspace. So look, I can do that. Now it's at 6 per page. I can get all the way down to, there's 10 per page. So whatever you want to do. Do you remember the report earlier that I showed you that was mine called 7 Up? How many per page do you think that is? Y'all are awesome. All right. So I'm going to show you something I created in this to kind of give you the idea of what you might do with this. This is one of my favorites, but I had help with this. I'm not super creative, so I had some help with this one. And I'll show you also how to access these. Okay, any questions about just the concept of the report manager? Very simple. Drag and drop your content from the left into the right. Remember, format from the top, or by double-clicking on the component. Okay? And remember, am I emailing it? Am I printing it? If you're emailing it, remember the hyperlinks. And it's a real powerful thing for those hyperlinks in there. Okay? So let's talk about now, real quick, some of the reports I create, and I'll show them to you. How do I get to these? I do a search, right? Just like I do normally. Like I do a search. And we'll do these in single family. And I'm going to pull up some really high dollar stuff here. Search. So I pull up my list of properties. 46 of them. Okay. Now, I'm going to check them all. Okay. And I'm going to just print right now. Okay, so I'm going to go down here at the bottom. I'm going to click print. All right. It's pretty standard so far, right? So I'm going to go to print reports. And it's going to open up a list. Guess what's in this list? 7-Up. Y'all ready? Here's 7-Up. I like this one better. The extra special is not real special. So the 7-Up there. All right? And so now I can either save this as a PDF, print it, or I'm just going to preview it on the screen for you guys. Preview. And this is what it's going to look like. Pretty cool? Okay, what did I do here? And what did I do with it? Hyperlinked it. Hyperlink. That's also a link there. Okay? And then, remember, all I had to do was create the format one time. Right here. And it just duplicated for the 46 listings that came up. 7 per page. And so if I go to the next page, guess what's going to be at the top? Cool. And there was also a place, I'll show you, there's a place for a footer. I didn't put one on this one, but you can also do a footer as well. So you do like page numbers or dates or whatever, timestamps, whatever. Okay? All right, you like that? Let me show you real quick the extra special, and then Debbie's coming up. 2-minute break? Okay. The Brian Extra Special, this was my attempt at a flyer. That's a great. But here it is. Okay, this is open house at. There's a picture, company logo, picture. There's some features here at the bottom. There's bedrooms and bathrooms. It was a good start. I pulled the remarks over, okay, from that listing. Okay. There's a photo gallery. Okay. And then go to the next listing. So all those listings come up here like this. So that's every listing, all 46 of them in my extra special. Getting busy. All right. We've got 99 templates in there already. I mean, there's a lot out there. None of them are flyers. I guess we could attempt making an attempt at that. But there's 99 out of the box templates for you. So build your own. All right? Good?
Okay. So I'm Debbie Way, Assistant Director of CMLS Policy. And since Kim and Ryan talked to you about statistics and these core reports that you can do in Tempo, I wanted to talk to you about what the rules are to make sure that you don't use this information or these tools in a way that can get you into trouble, okay? So, and after I talk about that, excuse me, I'm going to talk about Realist Value Map, which is something that you may not be aware of, and also give you some important updates that I think that you're going to really be happy about. So, the first is when you display CMLS statistics and sold listings, like using the SAM tool that you have, or even when you're talking about like flyers that you might be putting in mailboxes and things like that, there are some rules that have to be followed. So first of all, we just wanted to let you know that CMLS refers to be the source of statistical information to the media. We often get asked by members, hey, is it okay for me to provide this information to the Lake Norman Times or the Rock Hill Herald or whatever, local newspapers might be approaching you. And whenever we get asked that question, we always say, well, why don't you let us be the ones to give them that information? But if they want to have a relationship with you, you are certainly allowed to provide them that information, as long as you do so in compliance with the rules. And the rules are that must cite CMLS as the source of the statistical information. There's actually a sentence in our rules that we suggest that you use, and it's that information is based on information from CMLS. You have to give the date range. So, for 2011 year to date, or from January to February, or whatever that date range is that you're basing your statistics on. And then you also need to report the area covered. So if it's the entire CMLS area, if it's just for the Lake Norman area, if it's for a specific subdivision, when you report those statistics, you always have to include that information so that other agents who are out there who are looking at that can say, if they could go double check your work, and they need to be able to reproduce the same kind of results that you're producing. So that's very important that you always include that sentence, that you cite the source, which is Carolina Multiple Listing Services, the date range, and the area covered. Also, if you are talking about, if you're doing any type of list, Brian showed you that multi-line report. If you're doing any type of list of properties, you always need to include the phrase, properties may be listed or sold by various participants of the MLS. Because if you're putting a list of properties in someone's mailbox, or you're, sharing a list of recent sales with, the Lake Wiley pilot or something like that, then you always need to show these properties may be listed or sold by various participants, because other agents could look at that and say, Dot made it look like she sold 73 properties in Lake Wiley, right? And so that would be very upsetting. So you always need to include that disclaimer. Retransmission. You have to ensure that if the statistical information that you're providing is retransmitted, which may not seem very logical, but it happens on Facebook a lot. People retweet your posts and things like that. So any retransmission of that data, you need to ensure that those disclaimers are going to be included in those retweets or subsequent posts of that information. And then stats on active listings need to be based on more than one active listing. So if you're doing a report that says there are currently X number of listings, properties listed in, I'm trying to think of maybe a Piper Clinic, well, thinking of a small subdivision. You guys know there are some small ones out there that you can probably farm. If there's only one active listing in that neighborhood, and you're saying there are currently, X number of properties with an average list price, or the average number of bedrooms, the average square footage. If there's only one active in that particular neighborhood, someone else could look at that and say, well, you're advertising my active listing, and I've never given you permission to do that. And so they could file like a code of ethics claims, a complaint against you. So, when you are doing statistics, always make sure if you're giving statistics on active listings, it needs to be on more than one active listing to truly, be able to call it statistics.
That's not the case with sold. If there's only one sold, you get it.
Solds are different. Pendings are still considered active. So, but if it's an off-market listing, like a sold listing, then yeah, you can. You still also need to include that disclaimer: properties may be listed or sold by various participants, and then also your source to CMLS, the date range, and the area covered. Okay. And then finally, I always think of stats as like the SAM report. You're giving, average list price, average sale price for a large number of listings, either in a subdivision or an area, sub-area, something like that. But a lot of agents think of statistics as these lists that you do, the properties that are currently listed in a particular subdivision, or the properties that have sold this year in a particular area or sub-area or subdivision. Anytime you're listing specific properties, you need to make sure that you include those two disclaimers: the proper source, properties may be listed or sold by various participants of the MLS, and then you also need to make sure that you don't have active listings in that list. It's okay to do it for sold, but as soon as you start putting active listings in a list like that, you're advertising another broker's listing without their permission. And I know a lot of you guys are probably doing that, and it does violate the rules. So you need to make sure that when you're doing lists like that you might be putting into mailboxes or things like that, that you're either not including actives, or if there are some actives that you want to include, you need to contact the listing brokerage for those listings and get permission to include those in your advertisement, because it is considered advertising another broker's listing. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, so just make sure that you follow that, and then you'll be okay. And if you ever have any questions, just pick up the phone and give me a call, and I'll be happy to help you with that. When you're putting out flyers, this would apply to the internet as well. So if you're publishing lists of active listings on the internet, and we're not talking about IDX here, but if you're, on your agent website, it would need to comply there as well. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted, any questions about that before I move on? Okay. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is Realist Value Map, and this is something new that we've had Realist Value Map since 2009, like late 2009. What's new about it is that it is now available for you to incorporate into your own agent website if you would like to do that. And so I'm just going to quickly demonstrate. Okay, so once you get logged into Tempo and then you get logged into Realist, this is how you can incorporate it. And I'm going to show you this first step, and then I'll show you what it looks like once you get everything done. This is the new choice, My Value Map. So when you click on that for the first time, it's going to take you to a page where you have to input some information about yourself. So for example, you need to put your name, your phone number, and that stuff's auto-populated. Let them know whether you're a broker and an agent, or an agent, your brokerage name. You have to put in your website name, so if your site has a name, like, Carolina Realtors is ours, but, whatever your website name is, you can put that there. Your website URL, so this is something that you'll need to know. I think most of you probably know your website address. And then there's a little bit of customization that you can do. You do have the ability to upload a banner that's going to appear over the Realist Value Map. This could be like your company banner. It could be a picture. You do have some size ratios down here that you need to pay attention to. It's kind of a long, stretched out banner, so you've got kind of a peculiar ratio right there, but you'll need to pay attention to that, because if you upload a banner that does not meet these specifications, then it'll give you an error message. So once you upload that banner, you have to agree to the license agreement that Realist puts out there. You click accept, and then what's going to happen is Realist is going to send you an email. And the email that you get is going to have some instructions in it. It's going to actually include the code, the programming code that you're going to need to share with your website developer, whoever you purchase your agent website from. You can share that with them. They're going to incorporate that into your agent website, and then you're going to be able to incorporate this Realist Value Map into your agent website. And so I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. How many of you have used Realist Value Map? And it gives you that little automated valuation. Okay. And trends, yeah, it does give you a few little statistics that you can use. Okay, so this is the little one that we kind of created for ourselves here. And you can see at the top, we uploaded a logo. We uploaded Carolina MLS. But obviously you would upload your own agent logo there, or your company logo, so that you can kind of brand it to yourself. And in that email that you receive from Realist, in addition to the code to be able to frame this value map into your website, they're also going to give you a little bit of code that your programmer can create a link on your agent website that the end user user will click on, and that's what's going to take them into the Realist value map to be able to use that. So they give you a lot of those two pieces of code to help you integrate this into your website. So you'll definitely need to work with your website developer on this. And just to demonstrate a little bit about Realist value map, what this is basically a competitor to the Zestimates. How many of you have sellers out there who come to you with that Zestimate and say, this is what I think my house is worth, right? And how valuable is that? Right. All right, so the cool thing about this is it's a competitor to that, and you can just input any old address. Click search. You're already used to. I mean, this is exactly what you already have in Realist right now that you've had access to since 2009. But basically what it does is it brings up a little valuation of the property, an automated valuation. So it gives me an estimate of $158,000 for this particular property. And it's nice because you can make adjustments to it here. Let's say, you know, it says that the property has 3 bedrooms, but we can go in and say, nope, there's a 4th bedroom there that we know about. And then once we input that, we can just click update values, and then it's going to adjust that automated valuation there a little bit higher for the additional bedroom. So that's a nice thing, and it doesn't save that to the property. It's, you know, it's going to, that's going to be based on what the end user puts in. If they have additional knowledge about the property that is not available through the public records or the MLS data. And so it's going to give you a little bit of information about the property, the address, the county, bedrooms, bathrooms. This square footage is based on tax records right here, I can tell you that, and when the last sale date was. Some other things here that's kind of nice, it can show you the other homes for sale, and if you scroll down on the page, you see the other properties that are currently listed for sale, the address, the price, bedrooms, bathrooms, acreage, type of property, year build, who the listing broker, listing agent is, the office, the phone number, and the HLA range. So it does incorporate this data from the MLS system. And then down here, it's going to show you the recent sales for the property. These are probably the sales that they use in the automated valuation. And it pinpoints these on the map. Another little nice thing that you have in this little bubble right here, you can request to be notified when nearby homes sale. So, you know, if you have an end user or a consumer who wants to sign up for that, they can be notified of that. And then they can also send this to a friend. So if they want to, you know, share this information with someone that they know, then they can send that out. And then, of course, that person's going to have to come to your website, right, to be able to view the full information for that. So you're attracting other visitors to your website by referral. So that's a great thing to be able to use. And then also, you've got different views. This is the Bing mapping. Is that Microsoft mapping? Yeah. So you've got that. You can see the road map, which is just sort of like a stick figure. Right now we're looking at the aerial. You've also got a bird's eye. So if you want to get a better look at the property, you can switch to that bird's eye view. So you've got a lot of nice mapping features there. Let's say the end user is thinking about adding, you know, an additional bedroom to the property. So you can come in here and click, hey, I want to add a bedroom. Let's see what that's going to do to the value. And it says that it will create an additional $3,000 of value for the property. So that's a nice little feature as well. And the best thing about this, though, is that it's not based on public records. It's partially based on public records, but it's also partially based on MLS data. And then First American CoreLogic, who is the leading industry player in providing these automated valuation tools to lenders, is using their special sauce, their special algorithms or whatever they do to create these valuations. So it's going to be a lot more accurate than what you could get from this estimate. Some of the other options that you have up here, somebody mentioned market trends. You can click on the little tab there for your market trends. And then these other tabs are information that we've already looked at, recent sales, and this is where you can be set up to be notified about other sales in the neighborhood. You can rank your favorite homes, so if there are some homes that you want to keep track of and you want to come back and see, you can add those to your favorite homes. And then there's a contact me button so that the consumer who's using this can send an email to the agent and say, hey, I'd like a little bit more information about the value of my property, or do you think this is accurate, or whatever, because ultimately the agent is the one, and the appraisers too, are the ones who can provide a true value for the property. This automated valuation, of course, is never going to be a substitute for that. So they can get in touch with you if you're looking for that. So this can be incorporated into your website, and we do have a flyer that we've put out. Hopefully, I think you all have that at your place. It just gives you a little bit of information about this. And so this is available now in Tempo. So you can get this incorporated into your own websites. So that's Realist Value Map. Let's say you're still skeptical, though, of these automated valuation models, right? Because I think probably everyone in the room is, right? And you think you can do it better. We also provide a raw data feed of sold data from Tempo, from the MLS system. If you have an IDX website and you want the ability to display sold information on your website. So as long as you're an IDX subscriber or an IDX participant, you want to incorporate sold information onto your website, we can accommodate that for you if you would like to create your own program, because there are some brokers who want to do that, who don't want to use anything that's off the shelf. They want to create their own thing. And there are certain rules about that, and I'm not going to go through all of those, but you do have the ability to incorporate that sold data onto your website in a raw format. We also have what's called the Sales History Data Tool. This is also something that we've had for 2 or 3 years that agents have been able to incorporate into their websites. And I'm just going to show a quick little demo of this and what's available. And this is an actual brokerage website for one of our members. This is Terra Vista Realty. Anybody in here from Terra Vista? No? Okay. So, and this is also available on carolinahome.com as well. So if you don't want to go to a brokerage website, you can utilize this tool from Carolina Home if you'd like to. But you can incorporate this into your own website, and it's very simple. You just select the county, the zip code, and then it's going to require you to select a neighborhood. And then it's going to bring up the 20 most recent sales that have occurred in this neighborhood. So here you have still yet another way to display sold information on the internet that's going to be a bit more accurate than what you're going to get with public records. So, because it's going to be updated quicker, and it's based on information provided by realtors. So if you just click on any one of these pinpoints, it's going to bring up a little bit of information about the property, the address, the date that it sold, and what the sale price was. Where am I?
How did you get there?
This is a brokerage website called Terra Vista Realty, and I'm just demoing. This function, the sales history data tool, is available to any member who would like to incorporate this into your website. The sales history data tool is provided by CMLS, and it's free to the members. All you have to do is just incorporate it into your site. It's not from Tempo. We provide this on carolinahome.com, and it's also available to be framed for members on your agent websites.
How do you get that framed?
Yeah. You would have to request to be able to access this, but we can certainly provide that. You can see it on Carolina Home as well. Yes.
I think we call the help desk, right?
Right, if you just call the help desk, and I'll show you information about this on CarolinaRealtors.com. We have all of this published on CarolinaRealtors.com as well. Sandy?
Debbie, can I go back and clarify something?
Sure.
If an agent is, say, marketing in a neighborhood and they want to give that list of homes that are for sale, the ones that are pending, the ones that are sold, are you saying that not only do they need the disclaimer, but they have to go to every listing company and get permission to put that on that list?
For active listings, yes.
And pending's considered active.
Pendings are also considered active listings. They're listed by someone else. Solds, you just need to have the disclaimers. Yes.
Debbie, on your realist example, let's say you have a link on your website and somebody pulls it up and there's only one active listing in that neighborhood. How do you control that?
On the realist example,
If you go to a seller, let's say that wants a value of their home, and you show that down below, it shows what's active in that neighborhood. Well, let's say it's a very small neighborhood and there's only one active listing, you're technically,
I see your point, but Realist it's a product provided by the MLS service, by Carolina Local Listing Services, and we've signed a contract with Realist to be able to provide that service to our members. So it's kind of outside the realm. Okay.
Would it make any difference if you just maybe gave a street name or included a map with a marker but not any other identifying information?
On what product are you talking about?
For active listings?
The rule is that you cannot display active listings on a list unless you have authorization from the listing brokerage. If you have a suggestion for it, we'll change it to send that. Okay. All right. So this is basically the sales history data tool, and the main point here that I'm trying to get across, this is available on CarolinaHome.com, and this is something that is available for you to frame into your agent or brokerage website if you would like to. Okay, so we are on CarolinaRealtors.com. If you just go under CMLS, you'll have to log in. Look under Data Services, and there's a link for the Sales History Data tool under here. Internet Display of Sold Data, right here. And this is going to give you the information about the Sales History Data tool. And then for the AVM, the Realist AVM, you can look under Core Services and then click on Realist. And the information about the Realist AVM is going to be located right here, Realist Value Map. And that's going to give you the information about how to get that set up on your website. Okay? And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about are some announcements about what's coming soon. At the last CMLS Board of Directors meeting, we had some changes to some fields that are going to be implemented, I would say about mid-August, mid to late August. And the first one deals with the active due diligence status. We've had a lot of violations of agents not updating their listings out of active due diligence once that due diligence period end date is reached. And so what we're going to do is we're going to change the system. We're going to get rid of active due diligence, and it's going to be replaced with some cool technology that's not even going to require you to come in and do anything once that due diligence period date is reached. This is just going to automatically take care of removing that active due diligence indicator from your listing. So that's going to be nice that you're not going to have to remember to go back into the system and update the status of your listing. And then the other big announcement has to do with the special conditions field. And I know that Brian and Kim talked about some of the duplication that's occurred in some of the reports, and I don't know if this will help that, but I think it probably will. We are going to be able to make this a required field. Up to this point, it's been an optional field that didn't have to be used, but the board of directors did make a decision that we can switch this to a required field. Is that good? We have had that suggestion, and it was approved, so I know that it's on the list. And it won't be in the special conditions field, but it'll be under the financing options, so that you know that that financing is available. Yes.
Going back to the provisions for this property, I understand the fact of private listings, but when it comes to the government listings, they specifically say that you're open to market their listings with their property.
So if it's a HUD listing, that may be true. Right. Okay.
Yeah, be under special conditions, will we still have the undisclosed
Yes.
option?
Okay. Right. Any more questions for me before I hand the mic over? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. We're going to wrap this up very quickly because we know we're running a little behind. I really just want to bring to your attention that we have lots of information that the U.S. Census data, the U.S. Census Bureau brought over for us to let you know about all the resources they have. And this PowerPoint, as we mentioned, is going to be on our website, so these will be active links to get to these, but most of these links are in all the handouts that you were given. So they have a ton of tools and information available for you. There's a CD that you also have that has about 1,400 different charts and okay, they're in the back. We just might have, there's some more in the back. You can definitely get those packages. But if you have any more questions about this, you can also contact the Census Bureau directly. Here's their contact information and their email address if you want to contact them with regards to any questions about any of the reports or information. But everything on their website is very intuitive. You can put in very specific criteria to get to